The setting sun stretched shadows along Interstate 405 as I made my way through LA's heavy traffic. Lost in thoughts about my recent successful presentation and potential promotion, I barely registered the soft radio melodies mingling with traffic reports. The trance-like state was shattered by the sudden sound of brakes screeching. Events unfolded both glacially and rapidly, leaving no time to respond. A tractor-trailer swerved between lanes, its cargo swinging wildly as the operator struggled to maintain control. Vehicles collided with metallic shrieks as drivers desperately tried to dodge. I wrenched my steering wheel, but there was no escaping. The truck's enormous grille dominated my window's view, a metallic behemoth consuming my existence in an instant. The collision wasn't as painful as anticipated. Rather, it resembled being caught in an ocean's surge, forceful yet somehow tranquil. The crash's discord faded to an odd quietness, punctuated only by distant emergency vehicles. My awareness seemed to float freely, detached from physical concerns, rising above the turmoil. Then I witnessed it, my physical form mangled within my vehicle's remains. First responders flooded the area, their urgent actions appearing almost balletic from my elevated perspective. Their voices reached me as if submerged, muffled and unclear. I observed them working to extract my body from the twisted wreckage, their expressions resolute. An unfamiliar warmth enveloped me. Unlike summer heat or fireplace comfort, this warmth appeared to originate simultaneously from within and without, embracing my consciousness like a maternal hug. The illumination intensified, not blindingly, but clarifyingly, as though viewing the world through freshly cleaned lenses. Within this radiance, a form materialized. Jesus stood before me, his presence undeniable, his appearance both familiar and surprising. His gaze held infinite compassion, and his smile conveyed boundless understanding. As he reached toward me, I felt no anxiety, only an overwhelming sense of homecoming. "Follow me," his voice echoed in my thoughts, blending authority with gentleness. "There are matters you must observe." Our surroundings began transforming, the accident's chaos dissolving like autumn leaves in a gentle wind. We ascended through previously unknown layers of reality, each more vivid than its predecessor. The physical realm below faded like watercolors, while our new environment grew increasingly tangible. An immense vista opened before us, a landscape defying earthly description. Endless fields stretched toward the horizon, but these weren't typical meadows. Each grass blade seemed to pulse with inner luminescence, and the atmosphere itself sparkled with possibility. Previously unseen colors danced at my perception's edges, and something akin to music pulsed through everything, a perfect harmony that brought tears forth. Jesus guided me through this celestial domain with supreme patience, each step creating ripples of luminescence that radiated outward like stones disturbing still waters. The very atmosphere seemed to create melody with our movement, every breath drawing me deeper into this divine dimension. "This merely begins what awaits," Jesus conveyed, his words carrying significance beyond their surface meaning. "What you perceive here represents just a fraction of the greater reality constantly surrounding your earthly existence." He motioned toward a congregation of beings in the distance, celestial entities whose presence emanated both strength and serenity. Their wings manifested not as feathered appendages from classical artworks, but as flowing waves of radiance that moved with deliberate purpose. Each entity's countenance reflected varying aspects of divine affection, some fierce in their protective stance, others nurturing in their gentle presence. "These serve as guardians," Jesus elaborated, his voice resonating with pride and fondness. "They maintain vigilance over humanity, though few perceive their presence. Every individual has such protectors, laboring ceaselessly to guide and shelter them throughout their mortal journey." As we approached these assembled beings, I began recognizing specific instances from my own existence reflected in their light. The college day, when an inexplicable impulse led me to take an alternate route home. later discovering a major accident on my usual path. The sudden compulsion to contact my mother, only to learn she had been seeking comfort through prayer in a moment of distress. The mysterious tranquility that had surrounded me during my father's memorial service, enabling me to deliver his tribute without emotional collapse. Their presence has never wavered, Jesus confirmed, perceiving my thoughts. Every moment of insight, each unexplained premonition, all instances of feeling an unseen hand providing guidance. These manifested through their efforts. We neared a structure appearing to be fashioned from living crystal, its surfaces simultaneously transparent and reflective. Within its walls, countless scenes played out, moments of divine intervention throughout human chronicles. I watched in wonder as celestial beings moved through these tableaus, their actions subtle yet profound in their impact. Observe. Jesus directed my attention to a particular scene. Do you recall this moment? The image crystallized, revealing my 7-year-old self during a family wilderness excursion. I observed my younger form wandering perilously close to a rapid stream, unaware of the danger. A celestial guardian appeared in the memory, not physically, but as a gentle mental nudge, a sudden awareness that prompted me to step back just as the riverbank began to crumble. Your protector was present, Jesus spoke softly, as they have always been, as they shall always remain. The scenes shifted, revealing other instances of protection throughout my existence. Some remained in my memory, others had transpired without my knowledge. Close encounters and near misses that could have altered everything. In each instance, I now perceived the careful orchestration of heavenly intervention, operating within free will's boundaries to preserve and protect. For what purpose? I inquired, overwhelmed by the scope of this divine attention. Why invest such care in each individual existence? Jesus turned toward me, his gaze containing galaxies of wisdom. Because every soul carries immeasurable worth. Each life touches countless others, creating ripples extending far beyond human perception. Your actions, choices, and mere presence in the world affect more than you could comprehend. He guided me to another section of the crystal structure, where I witnessed my own life's impact on others. Small kindnesses I'd forgotten, encouraging words that had altered someone's path, even moments of weakness that had ultimately fostered growth in both myself and others. Each interaction connected to countless more, forming an extensive web of influence and consequence. This explains their vigilant watch, Jesus elaborated. Each person's journey holds unique value, contributing to a greater purpose unfolding across time and eternity. As we traversed this celestial realm, I began comprehending the intricate balance between divine protection and human autonomy. The guardians never forced decisions, instead creating opportunities, offering guidance, and protecting when possible while honoring the essential freedom of choice defining human existence. Jesus revealed scenes of spiritual warfare, moments when angelic guardians stood firm against darker forces seeking to influence and destroy. These conflicts occurred on a plane invisible to human eyes, yet their outcomes rippled through the physical world in numerous ways. Even in your deepest struggles, Jesus continued, when solitude seemed absolute, they remained present, fighting battles beyond your sight, offering strength you didn't recognize, awaiting your choice between light and darkness. We witnessed moments of human decision-making, where celestial beings waited expectantly as individuals stood at crucial crossroads. Their influence manifested subtly, a remembered scripture, a moment of clarity, a sudden sense of peace. But they never superseded human agency. The magnitude of this celestial orchestration overwhelmed me. Every prayer, tear, moment of joy or despair received notice and response with perfect love and wisdom. The coordination between guardian angels resembled an infinite dance, each movement precisely timed and executed with divine purpose. One particularly moving scene showed celestial beings gathering around a hospital bed where a young mother prayed for her child. Their presence filled the room with light, touching the hearts and minds of medical staff inspiring them toward correct diagnosis and treatment. Yet they accomplished more. They ministered to the mother's breaking heart, enveloping her with comfort and peace even as she faced her greatest fear. Physical healing represents only part of their work, Jesus explained. Often, the greater miracle manifests in spiritual healing, strengthening faith, deepening trust in divine love. As our journey through this celestial realm continued, I began perceiving how every moment of my life had been woven into a greater tapestry. What had appeared as random events or coincidences now revealed themselves as carefully orchestrated movements in a grand symphony of divine purpose. Jesus led me to a vast open space where the very atmosphere seemed alive with possibility. Here, countless potential futures spread before us like threads of light, each representing different choices and their consequences. The guardians moved among these threads, their actions guided by divine wisdom as they worked to protect and guide without controlling. Your life, like all others, remains an unfinished narrative, Jesus said, his voice carrying both authority and tenderness. These guardians help preserve the possibility of choice while working to maximize opportunities for growth and goodness. I watched in amazement as scenes from my past unfolded, showing how seemingly insignificant decisions had led to profound impacts. The time I stopped to assist a stranded motorist, unaware they had been contemplating ending their life that day. The encouraging words spoken to a colleague, which rippled outward to affect dozens of other lives. Even my failures and doubts had created opportunities for growth and redemption. This explains your protection, Jesus elaborated, gesturing to my life's tapestry. Not merely for your benefit, but for all whose lives intersect with yours. Each person's story connects to countless others, forming a masterpiece of divine creativity. The truth of this realization brought tears to my eyes. Every moment of divine protection, every subtle prompting from my guardian angels, had served not just to preserve my life, but to contribute to a greater purpose. The weight of this knowledge proved both humbling and inspiring. As we stood surrounded by evidence of divine love and protection, I felt a gentle pulling sensation. The celestial realm began fading slightly, like morning mist in rising sunlight. Jesus turned to me, his expression both loving and serious. "The time has come for your return," he said softly. "But remember what you've witnessed here. Remember that solitude is an illusion, that every moment holds precious value, and that your life touches more others than you could imagine." The pulling sensation intensified, drawing me back toward my physical form. Pain began returning, but differently now, more distant, less consuming. With it came a profound sense of purpose and peace transcending physical discomfort. As I faded from the celestial realm, Jesus' voice followed me, carried on waves of pure love. Share what you've learned. Let others know of the love surrounding them, the protection that never fails, and the purpose infusing every life. Consciousness returned to me in a hospital room, encompassed by medical devices and concerned expressions. Though pain persisted, it was overshadowed by an overwhelming sense of tranquility and purpose. The memory of my celestial experience remained crystal clear, not dissipating like a dream, but standing firm as a foundational truth upon which to construct my remaining years. Medical professionals labeled my recovery extraordinary, unable to explain my survival of such a catastrophic collision with relatively minor injuries. Yet I understood the reality. I had experienced something transcending the physical realm, a glimpse into the divine mechanisms operating behind our daily existence. Throughout the subsequent days and weeks, I noticed transformations in my worldview. Every interaction seemed charged with potential meaning, each moment an opportunity to participate in the grand tapestry I had witnessed. I began recognizing subtle indications of celestial presence, not through dramatic manifestations, but in quiet moments of inspiration, protection, and guidance peppered throughout daily existence. My interpersonal connections deepened as I learned to view others through the lens of divine purpose. Each person I encountered became precious, knowing they too had celestial guardians watching over them, their lives interwoven with countless others in ways they might never realize. The experience transformed my approach to challenges and difficulties. What previously appeared as random misfortune now revealed itself as part of a larger pattern, each struggle presenting an opportunity for growth and each triumph testifying to divine protection and guidance. I began sharing my experience, not with grandiose claims or dramatic flourishes, but with simple truth and quiet certainty. Some received it skeptically, others found inspiration, but all seemed to respond to the underlying message of hope and purpose pervading my account. As life resumed its normal rhythms, I carried the profound understanding that normal merely represented the visible surface of an infinitely deeper reality. Behind every moment, every decision, every seemingly chance encounter lay the careful orchestration of divine love, expressed through the tireless work of celestial guardians. During my recovery period, I developed an unusual sensitivity to others' guardian angels' presence. While I couldn't perceive them as clearly as during my celestial experience, their influence manifested in numerous subtle ways. Sometimes it emerged as sudden warmth in a room when someone struggled with a difficult decision, or a gentle pressure urging me to reach out to a stranger who, I would later discover, desperately needed connection. My professional work at the advertising agency acquired new significance. What once represented merely creative projects transformed into opportunities to weave messages of hope into daily life's fabric. During client meetings, I found myself advocating for campaigns that would uplift rather than simply sell, guided by inner knowledge that each advertisement could vehicle something greater than commercial success. Sarah, my closest colleague, first noticed the change. "Something's different about you," she observed one afternoon while reviewing layouts for a children's hospital campaign. "It's as if you're perceiving something the rest of us can't." Her words carried more truth than she realized. And in that moment, I felt the familiar warmth, celestial guardians encouraging me to share my experience. Over coffee in the break room, I recounted my story about the accident, Jesus, and the angels, about the vast tapestry of interconnected lives I had witnessed. As I spoke, tears formed in her eyes, and she revealed her recent struggle with mortality, a cancer diagnosis received just weeks earlier. Fear and uncertainty had been consuming her, but something about my story resonated deeply. "How strange," she whispered. "Just last night, at my lowest point, an inexplicable peace washed over me, as if someone were there, holding me together when I felt myself falling apart." I smiled, recognizing her guardian angel's work in that moment of comfort. Our conversation catalyzed transformation in Sarah. Her approach to treatment became infused with quiet confidence, extending beyond medical statistics into the realm of divine protection. Doctors marveled at her resilience, but I recognized the truth. She had connected with the same current of celestial support that had carried me through my own crisis. As Sarah's healing journey unfolded, others were drawn to the hope it represented. Her hospital ward became a gathering place for souls seeking something beyond medical intervention. Patients and families visited her room, drawn by an inexplicable sense that they would find comfort there. The hospital administration noticed the unusual atmosphere developing in their oncology ward. Statistical anomalies began appearing: higher recovery rates, fewer complications, improved patient satisfaction scores. They attributed these changes to enhanced care protocols, but those of us who had glimpsed behind the veil understood the truth. The barrier between heaven and earth had grown thinner still. During this period, my understanding of the celestial realm continued deepening. Dreams became vivid windows into the spiritual dimension, each night bringing new insights into the intricate dance between divine protection and human free will. I witnessed how guardian angels worked tirelessly to create opportunities for healing and growth, while always respecting individual choice boundaries. One particularly memorable dream revealed a vast network of light connecting every individual in the hospital: patients, staff, visitors, and even those who had passed on. Each connection pulsated with purpose, conveying prayers, hopes, and healing energy between souls. The celestial beings navigated this network like master craftsmen, reinforcing weak points, redirecting negative energy, and amplifying moments of love and compassion. The dream's perspective expanded to show how this network extended beyond hospital walls, reaching into homes, workplaces, and communities throughout the city. I observed how Sarah's journey had become a focal point, her narrative traveling along these connection lines to touch lives she would never directly encounter. Each person who heard her story became a potential conduit for divine grace, their own guardian angels working to maximize the ripple effects of hope and healing. As I observed these patterns unfold, Jesus appeared beside me once more, his presence as vivid as during my near-death experience. "Do you comprehend now?" he inquired, indicating the intricate web of light before us. This explains why each life holds precious value, why every moment carries eternal significance. Each soul channels divine love. Each story weaves into the greater tapestry. The dream expanded further, revealing similar networks of light encompassing the entire planet. I witnessed how crisis moments, like my accident and Sarah's diagnosis, often served as catalyst points, places where the barrier between worlds thinned enough for divine love to flow through more directly. These events, while challenging from a human perspective, created opportunities for massive spiritual advancement, not just for individuals but for entire communities. Upon waking, I felt compelled to document these insights, not solely for personal reference, but for others struggling to understand their own experiences of divine intervention. I began writing during early morning hours before work, describing both dramatic moments of celestial encounter and subtle daily signs of angelic presence. The writing process itself became meditative, each word seeming to flow from beyond my conscious mind. As I documented the accident and its aftermath, new layers of understanding revealed themselves. I began recognizing patterns in seemingly random events, divine orchestration in what I had previously dismissed as coincidence. My manuscript grew alongside Sarah's healing journey. Her strength returned gradually. Each small victory celebrated by the growing community of hope formed around her. Doctors spoke of remission in cautious medical terms, but we recognized it for what it truly represented, testament to divine protection working through human hands and hearts. One evening, while sitting with Sarah during her final treatment session, she shared a vision experienced during meditation. "I perceive them," she spoke softly, eyes bright with wonder. "The angels you described, they weren't just surrounding me. They were everywhere, working alongside doctors, comforting families, guiding people through their darkest moments. How could I have remained blind to this for so long?" Her words echoed my own awakening journey, reminding me how profoundly my perspective had transformed since that fateful interstate day. What began as a personal divine encounter had expanded into a movement of spiritual awareness that continued growing beyond imagination. The impact became particularly evident during a hospital board meeting where Sarah presented her experience. As she shared her story, I observed the assembled medical professionals, skeptics trained to trust only measurable, verifiable phenomena. Yet something in her words resonated beyond their rational minds, touching that part of them that had witnessed unexplainable recoveries and inexplicable moments of grace. Dr. Thompson, oncology chief, approached me afterward. 30 years of medical practice, he spoke, voice thick with emotion. "I've always considered myself scientifically minded, but recently—" He paused, searching for appropriate words. "Lately, I've begun sensing something in my work, a presence, a guidance defying medical explanation. Your friend's story helped me understand these experiences." His confession initiated a new chapter in the hospital's approach to healing. While maintaining their commitment to medical excellence, they began incorporating elements acknowledging the spiritual dimension of recovery. Prayer rooms transformed into sacred spaces welcoming all faiths. Staff members received encouragement to trust their intuitions alongside their training. A new position emerged, spiritual care coordinator, helping patients and families recognize and work with subtle signs of divine presence in their healing journeys. As these changes took root, I continued receiving glimpses of the celestial realm through dreams and meditation. Each vision deepened my understanding of the vast network of divine support surrounding humanity. I witnessed how every prayer, act of kindness, and moment of courage created ripples in the spiritual dimension that guardian angels could amplify and direct toward those in need.